Okay. All right, we are ready to go. I'm gonna see if we got everybody in. Yep, it looks like everybody got back in. Okay, awesome. Okay, so like I was saying before, what we're gonna do is go really in depth. And this isn't just me, so I'm just gonna go through some things, ask some questions to see if you guys are just well versed in little nuances. And then, when we go through this at the end, then you guys, if there's something I didn't cover and you're like, hey, also make sure we talk about this benefit or we talk about this. I don't want this to be just me talking at you guys. This is just us reminding ourselves because I know for me, I've learned so much in the past 8 months between class and our products and mineral deficiency and all these things. Sometimes my brain is just bursting and I'll have forgotten another piece of it. So we're just going to go straight into it. Hydrate detox. I guess raise your hand. Let me make sure I can see. I want to see everybody. Oh, that took everybody away. If this was the first product you started with of all of our products. Yeah, so I'm seeing like I can only see 6 people and like 4 people raise their hand right there. To me, and I know everyone leads with something different. This is where I want everybody to start. Is first and foremost like hydrate detox. That's really what sold me on the company. I think, I love skincare and it's changed my skin, but for me, this hydrate detox, I have not seen another product like this with this amount of value, this many different things all in one. Because everyone's talking about electrolytes. They're talking about a pre and probiotics separately. They're talking about magnesium. I feel like I see everywhere lately is everyone's going, oh, are you taking a magnesium? But to even show them, like a woman sent me a picture earlier today and she's like, oh, I just started this element. And I was like, well, that's great. It's a great product for like later in the day. This is a completely different animal. All right, so drop in the chat. What is the strain of probiotic that we use in the hydrate detox? And I can't even see the chat. Oh, there's the chat. I'm gonna pull that out so I can see it. DE111. Yes. Okay. How many of you now, once you found out what that strain is, search that term because there's an entire website just on DE111. Who's gone to that website and really read through it? Good. I see some hands going up because that's what you have to do for yourselves. You can listen to this and you can read the information, but the way I feel like learn more about each of the benefits and each of the things in the hydrate detox is one by one. I took those ingredients over and really studied like what does glutathione do? Like why is it the master antioxidant? Why is this strain of probiotic different? Because there's so many strains of probiotics out there and they all treat something different. They all affect us in a different way. And so me predominantly, like as I was going through and trying different probiotics before I tried this one, they were mostly lactobacillus. And so that's, I feel like the most common one. So right there, when I asked them like, hey, what strain of probiotic are you currently using? Is it working for you? Do you feel like it's working for you? Okay, if you put DE111, I feel like it's a whole website. Let me see what it said here. It's a whole website, just like DE111.com. Let me see what that was. Yeah, it's DE111.com. So what is the strain of probiotic that DE111 is? Who knows off the top of their head? Anybody? It's Bacillus subtilis. That is the strain of probiotic. And I just have that in the back of my head now from saying it so many times because I've seen some, oh good, she says there is a product letter in there. But yeah, this website too has a lot more. There's really new and different strains of probiotics coming out and new products. So when people send them to me, they're like, hey, look at this, what I'm using. What do you think about this? That's how I've gained so much knowledge because there's strains I've never heard about. And I always go and research what that strain is. What does this strain do? So just that's one thing I want you guys to know, just to be aware of, like we are a different strain. Glutathione, this is the master antioxidant. So we're always talking about detoxification and heavy metals coming at us all day. When those get through that gut lining, what the glutathione's doing is it's binding to it and helping to push that out of our system so it doesn't stay in there. So glutathione, I've even heard rumors the government's trying to take it, so it has to be prescription. There's these things when something this powerful, they want a way to monetize it and they want to make their money off of it as well. So the fact that we have that in there, who knows how many milligrams of glutathione we have in there? Drop it in the chat. Yes, 100, perfect. All right, I am gonna go forward just one slide and then we'll come backward. I think this is something that we need to make sure that we are versed on because we have two different types of magnesium in our products. So the two products, we have the magnesium citrate here, which helps with regularity, helps with bowel movements. And then we also have the magnesium glycinate in our nighttime in our PM supplement. So something I do for people a lot is I'll look at their supplements. And once you have this slide, take a screenshot and I can send you guys these as well. And the next one, it's very easy to see where they're having a very, very cheap form because a very cheap form right here, oxide, you'll see that in a lot of magnesiums. And especially I saw a friend taking it every single night. It's like a CVS brand. And it was like 400 milligrams. She was taking it before bed, all this stuff. I'm like, that's not even what it's for. And it has so little absorption that if you're looking for the type of magnesium like a glycinate or the glycerophosphate right here, these are the top two, the glycerophosphate and the glycinate, a top absorption. So when you hear us say you need magnesium for like all 300 different enzymatic reactions in your body, and then they're just taking something like an oxide, I'm like, it's not even doing what you want it to do. It's actually, when you're taking a cheaper form, it's just stressing your liver more, because it's almost staying inactive all the way. And if it might have some absorption or might help a little bit, you don't even know. That's happening so far into the digestive process, where if you have an active form, the minute you ingest it, it's active in your body and it's doing what it's supposed to do. Instead of working its way, our body trying to work all the way to push it out, and by the time it gets to our liver, it hasn't even become an active form, so it's just stressing our liver more. So citrate right here, that's why we take that in the morning. That's why that helps with regularity, and the glycinate at night before bed. I'm gonna go, where do I wanna go next? Okay, and if you guys wanna take a screenshot of this as well while we're on that vitamin talk, all this stuff is very important to me because when we're talking about hydrate detox, the number one thing to do for your body as far as hydration and for detoxification or help our body's flush is we have to be hydrated. So when we're looking at this, like hydrate ourselves, help ourselves detoxify with that morning hydrate detox, but then also if they're putting things in their body like this, all of these inactive forms right here are just stressing their bodies out even more. So you see like a folic acid, and again, a cyanocobalamin. This is a very common right here as B12, hydroxycobalamin. Again, these are not active forms. So I just want you guys to have that basic knowledge. And we'll come back to that in a second. So we have the magnesium citrate and potassium. Two very important things to remember are that 80% of Americans, or I don't know about Europeans, I know Americans, we are magnesium and potassium deficient. And we need those two minerals. We need those two minerals, like I said, for it to be a cofactor for 300 different enzymatic reactions in our body. So we could be taking all these other vitamins, but if we're magnesium deficient, like you're basically just peeing them out. So we need to have that in our body. So we've got our pre and probiotics, we have our hydration, we have our magnesium citrate, we've got a glutathione, we've got our potassium, we got all that in the morning. I want to go on and tell you why I think it's important when we are talking about hydrate detox to always be talking about the AM supplement to go alongside of it. So when we're hydrating ourselves, and a lot of people have thought they were hydrated, but once they actually get those electrolytes for their kidneys, the kidneys are, it's going to balance our blood flow, our pH in our body. And all of a sudden these cells are, hydrated. So they're not crunchy like this. They become big and open. We're getting the bad bacteria out. What's happening is so much bad stuff. All of a sudden we're unearthing all this bad stuff, maybe in their gut lining, and it's rushing to the liver. We want to give them something to help them with that detoxification as it gets to the liver. So, we have the vitamin D3 in there. We have the milk thistle. The ginger is even great for detoxification, but this is also gut inflammation. and our detoxification. So I feel like those two products, the Hydrate Detox, that's hydrating and unearthing the bad bacteria and filling us with the good bacteria alongside this detoxification and inflammation, I feel like they have to go side by side. And when you explain that to people of why, like you believe in this detoxification, not only for that, but ongoing, as we have chemicals on our vegetables that we weren't aware of, as all this stuff is coming at us all day, every day, we're trying to be as good as we can. We can't be perfect. We never will be. We need to give our system something to help it push that out. So that glutathione mixed with this, I just think is absolutely perfect. All right, so back to the collagen. Who knows what types of collagen are in our collagen? Yes, 1, 2, and 3. So 1 and 3 is the most typical. And on some, you will see on collagens where they're like 8 types of collagen. Like we have all 8 types of collagen. Okay, well, most of those our body can't even utilize. So that's like a marketing gimmick. 1, 2, and 3 are the most important. Type 2 is typically found in bone broth. So the fact that we have it in our collagen to me is very cool. Also, just little things to look for when people say, oh, but I'm taking a grass-fed collagen. Okay, well, what type of grass is that animal eating? What type of toxins is it exposed to? Is there any heavy metal testing? Is it types 1 and 3? Assuming, but we have type 2 as well. So to me, that is very, very important because it is hard to find. We know ours is certified safe. We know those fish are not out in the ocean eating all kinds of mercury, eating bigger fish. We know they're in an environment that is controlled, and we don't have to stress about it. We have our third-party testing as well. But I think that type 2 is very important. Yeah, types 4 and 5, that's what we were learning in class, and I'll find the actual, I have a slide on it somewhere, but it was just showing, it's just the higher you go, there's not even enough collagen, they were saying, like, to do anything for inside in your body. Like types 1, 2, and 3, that's what we can actually absorb, that's bioavailable. And I'll find more research on that for you guys. All right, so if you didn't get a screenshot of this, I can send these later. But just remember, glycinate is the one that's talked about the most. It's about second highest of most absorbable forms. Glycerophosphate, I do take one with glycerophosphate, but it was hard to find. Glycinate, though, pretty much anywhere you go, like people are going to recognize that is like, it's a great form of it, and I think a little bit less expensive than glycerophosphate. Right, we talked about the AM supplement. So make sure even if you don't remember every single ingredient, you know that it has that combination of turmeric and black pepper for the inflammation, and it has that ginger and the milk thistle. And I'm not sure about the cranberry, that might help as well. I cannot remember, but those two things to me, I'm like, okay, we're helping our liver here. All right, the nighttime supplement. I have been reading this great book that Amy and Kaylee turned me on to, the Hormone Repair Manual. And magnesium glycinate before bed, if you are going through perimenopause or in menopause, that and taurine were the two like key things they said you have to have. If you're not sleeping well at night, if you're having night sweats, headaches, migraines, the amount of things that magnesium glycinate can do for you, but it is going to calm you and ground you. Oh, thank you. So maybe the cranberry was to help also with the detoxification of the kidneys too. That would make sense. But most important, like I'll take this sometimes at 6 or 7 at night if my kids are stressing me out, but because it has the passion flower in there, it has the lemon balm extract, so it has that paired with magnesium, it's very grounding. It's not gonna make you sleepy, but it is very grounding. So as for sleep, if people are like, okay, it's not supposed to make me sleepy, no, it makes you calm. It's gonna help with blood sugar spikes while you're sleeping. So that's a huge thing right there. It can help with restless leg syndrome. So that's another one, like it's a very calming thing. Like, and if somebody is having moments of extreme anxiety, I tell them like, hey, go take some PM supplement. Don't think it has to be right when you go to bed. Or if they're trying not to drink alcohol, that's one. Like, a lot of these magnesium drinks are out there, like mocktails. Why not have this with a glass of seltzer water? I put this in here just in case you guys wanted to take a screenshot of it. Um, Again, that's going to help with insulin sensitivity. There is foods, that's ideal. It would be ideal to get all of our nutrients from food, but the way that they have depleted so many nutrients from our soil and from our vegetables that we're buying now, I just feel like we can't even get enough anymore. And if you're like me, I'm 45 and I need that extra right now. I need that, as my body is feeling different than it did 5 years ago. So my magnesium at night is a non-negotiable for me. Okay, we got that, and I can send this as well later. But again, if anybody asks you to look at their supplements because they want you, like, hey, why is yours better? And you see that magnesium oxide again in the other one, you see like a riboflavin, or for me, folic acid is a huge one. If I see that in somebody's vitamin, I immediately will be like, no, it needs to be methylfolate. It's an inactive form. It's just stressing you out. A lot of people cannot, 40% of people cannot methylate folic acid, and it can act like speed in their bodies. It can make almost like ADD symptoms where it's really hard to focus. It's think about it, everything in our lives, like white bread and white flour, is enriched with folic acid, fortified with folic acid. So, just things to be aware of, just getting basic knowledge right now. And a B12, if you see them with a vitamin with cyanocobalamin or hydroxycobalamin, just clue them in that it is an inactive form and it could be stressing them out, not helping. It's not doing anything that they thought it was doing for them. So looking for methylcobalamin is the one that I see more and more commonly. All right, so that's it for that. And I was trying to keep it, yeah, we kept it like 15 minutes. So now any questions, I'm gonna stop share. Oh, and also just make sure if you guys have not listened to that formulator call in the Knowledge Center, yeah, it's so good. It's so much information, but it's so good. And when if I'm going to write a post on magnesium or whatever it may be, if you want to talk about to someone or even just run through a verbiage real quick before you get on the phone with somebody who's like, why is electrolytes important for the kidneys? Just go ask ChatGPT and they'll write up a fabulous thing for you. And that's how I do write a lot of my posts. If I'm doing more science, is I'll ask ChatGPT about 5 different questions and then I'll take pieces from each. And sorry, can you guys hear the ice cream truck outside? And, just if you're going, I'm struggling with sounding scientific or sounding like this, I love ChatGPT. Love it. All right, questions, comments? No, okay, there's a couple things right now on that because I get asked about Liquid IV all the time. That has tons of added sugar, I think like 12 grams of added sugar. And another big red flag for me on that is they have cyanocobalamin in there as their B12 form. I mean, it's made from cyanide and sludge and oh, they're like, oh, trace amounts won't hurt you though. Yeah, but what if everything that's coming at me has trace amounts? Then my toxic load is filling because it's coming at us from so many different angles. So I would never touch that because it has that cyanocobalamin in it. There's a lot of great electrolytes out there as long as they don't have added sugar. And when people say, oh, what about this one? I'm like, do that in the afternoon. If you're outside all day, but what ours is designed for is after you've fasted for 8 hours, that's the one you want to put in your body. So another little like fact on the probiotic and why ours should be drinking first thing in the morning is you want to drink a probiotic on a completely empty stomach or about 2 hours after a meal. Otherwise, your body's not gonna absorb all of it. So that's why we want them to do the hydrate detox as soon as they wake up. Before anything else hits their stomach, let's put that in them first, and then they're gonna be more hydrated throughout the rest of the day. And for a lot of people have heard me say this, but like all my labs over the last 3 years, every single time they came back that I was severely dehydrated, and every time they're like, are you drinking water? I'm like, I am. This lab, I think like a month and a half ago that we just did after I'd been on these products for 8 months, this was the very first lab that I was perfectly hydrated. Plus, like my LDL came down 25 points, like my resting glucose, like everything that should have come down did. And this is the only thing I switched was adding in the AM supplement and changing my collagen over and then doing this hydration first thing in the morning. That's the only thing I switched. What else? I'm sorry.
I'll throw one at you if everybody else is going to be quiet. It's Amy.
Hi.
So when Jamie first got started, she did this fabulous thing, and I'll put you on the spot. She basically, she has all this knowledge, right? And not all of us feel as confident as she does, but there's some really key points that we can all like write down and just know, like have those two or three key points. But another thing that Jamie did in the beginning, and I know she shared it with the girls that were enrolling directly with her, she recorded a voice memo that had a great explanation. And you could literally write down some of the points, record a voice memo, and then when you reach out to somebody, let them know, like, hey, I'm so excited about this product. I've been dying to tell you about it. I'm going to send you another quick, clip about it because it's too much to write. And you don't have to recreate that. You can send it over and over and over again. And they don't know if you read it off of a you don't want to sound like a robot reading, practice it a few times. But that I think was so powerful and something she did in the beginning that really helped her just gain a lot of conversations and enrollments with not a ton of time as it would have been to re-record that every single time.
And I did
Jamie,
write it
do you
out. If
still
anybody
have
wants,
that? Yeah,
yeah,
that's what
I
I was
have
gonna
it
say,
because
just ask.
I had
Drop it
Jamie
in the
Schmidt
chat.
recreate it, and she literally just read it and sent it to me as a voice memo. And I was like, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have a tool. And I got
Yep.
it down to 3 minutes. And so after I'd send somebody a message like, hey, I'd really love to tell you more about the products behind this company that I felt pulled to come to. And they were like, oh, sure. And I'm like, well, I'm going to send you a real short voice memo because writing this out would be too much. And I had it ready because, as long as you don't say a name,
Yeah.
had that as my in my tool on Facebook Messenger and just boom, boom, boom. And then one person didn't have it, so I think I played it and I did a screen recording of it and then I texted it to her. So then I had it always like in my photo album too, as like a saved audio file. And really, it just gets you comfortable talking about the products and talking about the aspects that are most important for you. Because I feel like back then, even I was talking much more about gut health because this was the first thing that really helped my stomach, our products, and that I wasn't feeling bloated after every single meal. And I think it's because I was finally hydrated. So I feel like in the beginning, I was talking so much about gut health. And as I've learned in school this year, like I'm so uber focused on detoxification and liver health and kidney function and getting our bodies getting the bad stuff out that I feel like I kind of talk about that more and the hydration aspect of it. So that's what I was saying in the beginning. Like sometimes, we're more passionate about different things and we forget, like, oh yeah, did I mention to them though, like how this changed my gut health? Because I'm so excited about the hydration part and why that's so important for detoxification. And one last thing on that too is, you know, I was in the health and fitness world for 12 years. And once you learn this kind of stuff, I couldn't unlearn that. I was like, wow, I was trying to help people lose weight without addressing the foundations. And how, like, I never talked about stress and getting in a parasympathetic state. Like, I never talked about, like, how much are you sleeping? I never talked about hydration and gut health. It was just eat these certain meals, this, and then you will have perfect reactions. No, like, let's go back and ask them, even if it's something we don't sell, like, hey, how are you sleeping at night? Are you doing just simple breathing for 1 minute before you eat? To allow your digestive system like catch up with your body. Are you in fight or flight all day? Like, tell me some things. And what if this is one simple tiny thing we can start with, and you focus on some breathing, adding in this hydrate detox and the AM supplement in the morning? So we're not just pushing product like I have a magic pill. No, let's also talk about, like, are you sleeping? Are you having a lot of stress? Do you feel like you're in fight or flight mode all day long? Like, let's ask all those kind of questions too. All right. Anybody else? Was this helpful for you guys? Or because I sometimes think that sometimes even if we're just hearing stuff we already know, just hearing it over and over and over again, so that when we're in a conversation that we really feel confident that we know what we're talking about. Yeah, Stacy's been my girl since day one and she gets it. But yeah, so she hears me say all this stuff all the time. But it's even good for me to hear, like, oh, I need to start sending those voice memos again. Haven't done that in a minute. Or have I talked about this aspect in a while? You're welcome. All right, you guys have a good night, and we will see you again next Thursday. I hope I recorded that.